right, so Jay, switching over to the AFC, you had the Buffalo Bills taking on the Kansas City Chiefs there in Kansas City. First quarter, the Bills went up 9-0, primarily off of a muffed kick. Punt. It was a punt. Punt by Mecole Hardman that they converted into a touchdown, missed the extra point. And then Kansas City proceeded to rattle off 21 straight points on the way to a 38-24 victory in Kansas City Chiefs fashion, the kind that we were accustomed to seeing early on in the season and the last two seasons prior to that. So in watching how this Kansas City team just completely dismantled the Buffalo Bills on the way to that 38-24 point victory, what do you feel like in this game it was that made Kansas City so unstoppable?
Is that they don't panic. I believe that's the strongest attribute of this team, is they don't panic. They know that, you know what, we're Golden State Mystique of the 2015 to 2019 seasons that, yeah, we can be down 30, but guess what? We'll rattle off a 40-10 third quarter, tie the game up, and then take the lead and win by 25. Mm-hmm. They know that their team is so explosive that they are in such a sync. I think this is the one thing that people don't give them enough credit for, is how in sync of a team they are. I mean, if you pay attention to the way the plays go, with the way the players move, how prepared they are for passes to come their direction, how they know the way that Patrick Mahomes is going to move and they're in the right spots every time. It's ridiculous how Tyreek Hill is wide open across the field, knowing damn well he's going to get the pass thrown to him, but you also got to account for Travis Kelce. And then Mecole Hardman will go deep on you while they use Tyreek Hill on the short passes. And then when Sammy Watkins is open, they've got a possession guy that's going to catch him on the sidelines. They have built a team with such camaraderie, such a sync, that no matter what happens to Mahomes, I mean, you watched him scramble. Typically when the quarterback scrambles, you see people trying to try to reconfigure themselves. And no, they were ready for every single movement he made because somebody was always wide open. And I don't know how you defend that unless you're Tampa Bay.
Well, for me, Jay, and you know, we've jokingly been doing this for well over a year, probably a year and a half, calling them the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Chiefs, Kansas City Warriors, whatever, and how they are able to turn that switch on and then just blow past teams. And when you look at that Golden State Warriors team, for instance, and just when you could look at other dynasties, you could look at big threes that we've seen over the last decade. They all have one thing in common outside of the star power and outside of how offensively proficient that they are, and that is they play really good defense.
Yep.
The star of this game, to me, is the Kansas City defense once again. And I figured them out. This Kansas City defense, they're not a regular season defense. They're a playoff defense. That's when they play their best. That's essentially what they're built for, because you get 4 sacks on an extremely mobile quarterback in Josh Allen, who's tough to bring down. And after they gave up those 9 points in the first quarter, only giving up 13 for the rest of the game, which gives your offense room to play, room to dig deep into the playbook and expand on that lead, and that's exactly what happened. So it's this Kansas City defense who gets overlooked so often when it comes to evaluating this team and being mesmerized by what this Kansas City offense is able to do. So to me, it's this Kansas City defense showing up, playing well when it counted the most, being more of a bend, don't break defense, and putting their offense in a position to go out there and have fun and be comfortable and be in sync. And that's the reason why they don't panic, because they know that they have that defense and that offensive coaching.
Yeah, you got to give it to Steve Spagnuolo for his scheme with that. And I don't. So I don't want to sound like a hater with this, but I don't want to give them too much credit.
Kansas City's listening. Be careful
against Josh Allen, but
don't do it.
I'm going to give them this credit instead that Spagnuolo was prepared for this type of quarterback. So here's the deal when it comes to Josh Allen. And, of course, anybody out there with their Twitter fingers know that they've come at me. They've come out about throw it a couple times in conversations around. Okay. I'm like a lot of people. This year I've given Josh Allen props because they finally used him right. They understood the way you need to use him. Use him like his name is Jaheim. Play him like he's Cam Newton. Honestly, play him like he's Lamar Jackson. Set your offense up. Have design runs. He's big. He's strong. He's physical. Mm-hmm. But guess what he's guaranteed to do? he's guaranteed to do bonehead stuff. Perfect example. 2 times he got sacked in that game. Did you see how he was holding that football? He had it extended out to the outside of his arm as if he was going to use all his power to push off a dude that's probably 270, 280, and another 260-pound fast guy. He was using his strength while holding the ball like a loaf of bread. Then he got smart and tucked it and went down because he knew he wasn't going to get these dudes off of him. That's a problem for Buffalo. And that's going to be a problem probably for most of Josh Allen's career is that his strength, his sheer ability, he thinks he can outdo everybody with that. Even though there's some plays that work out great. Like, it's funny because Bomani Jones had tweeted out, he had asked the question, are we going to get the full Josh Allen experience? You understand that reference, right? Because with Josh Allen, there's extreme highs and there's very extreme lows. Unfortunately, we didn't get very many good sideline passes or pinpoint accurate throws that we would have gotten for the full experience. But we got some of the boneheaded stuff, like those 2 sacks he took. They were prepared knowing he was going to do that. They were like, if we get a hold of him, he's not going to go down immediately. He's going to fight. So because of that, let's scheme ourselves to where we can keep turning him around to where he can never throw the ball away. And sure enough, he got sacked for like 20-something yards because of it.
So essentially what you're saying is that they found a way to turn Josh Allen back into Josh Allen.
They turned Josh Allen against himself. They made him revert back to the Josh Allen we know. And if Josh Allen gets out of that, dude will be top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
He was out of that. I mean, this Bills team, no one could stop them. How many games in a row did they win before they met the Kansas City Chiefs?
They were 11-1, and that one was the Hail Murray. That was without that, they would have been 12-0.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what's so great about this defensive performance and this scheme. They turned him back into what he was.
But that's
what was
the
he?
thing,
He was
Jimmy.
28 for 48.
Jimmy,
that's
that's the
pure
thing.
Josh Allen.
That's the thing, Jimmy. He never stopped being him. He never stopped.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't. Those same bonehead plays were still happening during that time, but they were overshadowed by his sideline passes and his beautiful throws. But everything that he was this game has been going on all season long. The only thing is he was covering it up himself. What they did was they removed that blanket and said, you're not covering up your good plays. You're only going to do the bad ones. So I'll give it to Spag and them the way that the pressure they put on him was perfect. They stunned it on the outside. They forced him to stay in the pocket, which I'm seeing that Josh is not comfortable with. At least it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like he's comfortable with staying in the pocket. And to be honest, it seemed like he's like a Cordell Stewart was. He's better when he roams out of the pocket, or like Russell Wilson does. Yeah. They're better when they're mobile. Aaron Rodgers, they're better when they're moving out of the pocket than just stepping into the pocket. Kansas City forced him to stay in that pocket, and that is not the Josh Allen game that he likes. But then at that point, he tries to overpower everybody. They made him use his strength in that game, and that's something you don't want Josh Allen to ever do. Well, in the pocket. You want him to run. You want him to truck people. Because like I said, he's like Cam Newton. Dude's probably he could end up being one of the top 5 greatest short yardage quarterbacks in NFL history. Up there catching up with the Cam Newton. Because that's what Cam is. But they forced Josh to do what he shouldn't be doing.
That's what I'm saying.
I get you.
Everything you're saying is true, but I'm saying the reason why that is true is because of this Kansas City defense that is consistently overlooked. This is what they do in the playoffs.
I think it's more scheme than anything. But at the same time, you're right. This is the one thing I say I throw a little hate at them, but at the same time, I'll give them this is that they do what they're supposed to do to get the ball out of the other team's hands. They do that.
And, you have to think in the secondary, too, and part of this was because of how uncomfortable they made Josh Allen. You saw how great Stephon Diggs had been, how he has emerged as a top 5 wide receiver, and he was held to 6 catches on 77 yards.
Who was shadowing him?
I don't know. I don't know what they were doing in order to slow him down.
Yeah, because I couldn't figure it out for the Ravens. How do you stop this dude?
Because even with everything that they were doing with Josh Allen, he still knew he had opportunities just to throw it up there and let him use his route running and use his great catching ability in order to make plays. And they really couldn't get much of that at all. Now, we all knew going into this game that their Achilles heel was the run game. They had none. And this ended up being part of their undoing. They've got to get a run game this offseason. If it kills them, they've got to get that.
But they have 3 running backs who were serviceable. The problem is they had – I think that this is how you get a running game with a team like the Buffalo Bills. You run Josh Allen like his name is Jaheim, which they were doing. When they ran the RPO,
the
run-pass option, they were getting yards. And you noticed that on that drive when they scored that touchdown. That's what they were doing. You need Josh Allen to be Cam Newton. Make him Cam Newton. Make him Lamar Jackson because he can do it. He's strong enough and he's fast. Dude's wild athletic.
Yeah.
Like everyone underrates how athletic he is. And I am very fearful for him that once their offensive coordinator is gone.
Now, what's his name? Is that Brian Dable?
Yeah, Dable.
Okay.
Which
he's going to get
a
on at some point.
He's going to get a head coaching job somewhere.
Yeah, he is at some
potentially.
point.
And so once he's gone, that's where I'm hoping that McDermott is smart enough to realize you got to play Josh like he's a running quarterback. Mm-hmm. Let him have his rocket, but make that man run some quarterback powers.
I mean, they're going in the right direction.
I agree.
There's some really, really good players on that team, but what they don't want to be is the Utah Jazz to the Chicago Bulls with Patrick Mahomes in that division.
Yeah.
So in that conference.
Or actually, more so, Knicks to Bulls. Yeah,
right.
Be the New York Knicks. Yeah. Always going. Even one year making it to the Super Bowl because Patrick Mahomes is hurt or Lamar Jackson's hurt, but then not doing anything because of it. Yeah. That's I can totally see them being the New York Knicks to the Kansas City Bulls setup. So.
The Kansas City Bulls.